Good morning, Sonoma County. Come on, can I get everybody's attention, please? Mic check, 1, 2. DJ, kick the beat. All right, let me break it down for you. Okay, I'm just kidding, I'm not gonna rap. But I do want to just say a couple words. I'm not even supposed to be up here today. The main thing I want to just mention is we really need to give a huge round of applause to our incredible staff, Monica, Ellen, Handy. They are the ones who make all of this happen and provide us these spaces. So huge shout out to our amazing staff. I just want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Herman Gabriel Hernandez, Herman G. Hernandez, and my pronouns are he, him, él, and I'm the proud executive director of Cien, Sonoma County, the premier Latinx leadership group of the North Bay. I just like to say that. I don't actually know if it's true. But real quickly, before I hand it off to our 2 incredible team members, if we can turn down the beat right now, that would be awesome. I'm not about to break it down in front of a sold-out crowd. So we still have people outside, but in a couple days is going to be the 10-year anniversary of Andy Lopez, who was shot 7 times by Chief Gale House right down the street from this building. So one thing that I'd like to do is give, if you can join Cien in 7 seconds of silence in honor of Andy Lopez, who passed away 2 days from today. Thank you so much. Andy Lopez is deeply ingrained in the work that Cien is trying to do, and I could justify it in my own self that the work that we lead is in his memory every single day. So thank you so much for that moment of silence. And now I'm going to pass the mic to Handri Bautista and Ellen Velazquez Muralles, our team members who are opening today.
Is this on? Can y'all hear me? Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Buenos días y bienvenidos. Thank you again for joining us for Cien's final program of the year, LGBTQIA+ mental health within the Latinx community. Today we'll be discussing the cultural intricacies and social implications that impact the mental health of our BIPOC, Latina, LGBTQIA+ familia. We will discuss the importance of centering the experiences of diverse sexuality, gender identities, and cultural backgrounds in accessing culturally comprehensive services and treatments. But before we begin, we have an important announcement we must make in Spanish.
Buenos días y bienvenidos. Si necesita traducción, tenemos audífonos donde puede escuchar toda la conversación traducida por Claudia Mendoza Carruz. Por favor, vaya a la mesa de registración donde está Mónica para que ella le pueda ayudar con los audífonos. Muchísimas gracias a Claudia por su ayuda y por estar con nosotros esta noche. Bueno, este día, perdón.
Now we would like to take a moment to do our land acknowledgement, and out of respect, we ask you all to please stand. Today, Cien Sonoma County is humbled to bring us together on the lands of Southern Pomo, Great and Rancheria people. We celebrate the active work of their descendants to preserve and nourish their indigenous culture and identity. We acknowledge the Southern Pomo, Great and Rancheria people as the traditional stewards and custodians of this region. We honor with gratitude the land itself, and all of its ancestors, past, present, and future. Cien respects the enduring relationship that exists between today's Southern Pomo Great Rancheria people and their traditional territories.
Once again, thank you so much for you now. Take a seat. Once again, thank you so much for being with us today. My name is Candri. My pronouns are they, them, ella. I am the media and comms intern for Cien.
And I'm Ellen Velazquez Muralles, pronouns she, her, ella, and I'm the events and community engagement coordinator with Cien.
Today's program could not have been made possible without our dynamic team of volunteers who we would quickly want to recognize. Please stand as I say your name and remain standing. Ramon Meraz. And I would like to ask if we can hold our applause till the end. Jay Mulino, Felix Santiago Reyes, Lisa Carreño, Ana Booker, Kimi Barbosa, Rene Ho, and last but not least, our chairs Chase Overholt and Doris Reyes. They have put many hours. Thank you. They have put many hours into curating today's questions, reaching out to speakers, and sharing their personal stories, which is not easy. Thank you so much for the work that y'all have been doing.
And now we want to welcome our students. So at this point, if you're a student, we ask that you please stand so we can give them a nice warm welcome. We've got students today from all over Sonoma County, including Sonoma State University, Healdsburg School District, and Santa Rosa Junior College. And now we would like to welcome our community engagers and parent organizers. If you are a part of our community organization or a parent that is part of our Access Ticket program, can you please stand and give them a welcome as well?
Now we would like to recognize our elected officials and elected representatives. We have a ton in the room today, and due to time, we would like to ask you for you to stand up so we can give you a nice warm welcome. Thank you for joining us.
We would like to point to our looping slideshow to make sure you know who our premier partners and sustaining members are. Without their investments and trust, we would not be able to do what we do. So thank you very much. We'd like to give a special shout out to our new sustaining members, the 4 Cs of Sonoma County and Independent Office of Law Enforcement Review and Outreach, also known as IOLERO. Also, a special shout out to our newest premier partners and presenting sponsor for today's program, the United Way of the Wine Country. And last but not least, we'd like to give a huge thank you to Keysight Technologies, who are sponsoring today's program as La Amigues de Cien.
And this is a reminder, all of our programs and informative events are being recorded by the Nexo Media team. This is exciting because it allows us to share with everyone and our 3,000 followers, our members, the opportunity to listen to these conversations. Shout out to Hector Velazquez and the Nexo Media team.
So before we pass the mic on, we'd like to share a little bit as to what this program means to us today and why it's so special to us. I attended my first Cien event in 2016 when I was a college student, and it was the first space where I had the opportunity to see a room full of beautiful BIPOC professionals. I was able to see myself and my family and people I love reflected in that room. This is the first ever LGBTQIA+ focused program that Cien has ever hosted. As a pansexual Latina that navigates life with anxiety, depression, and PTS, it is an honor to be here with you today in community where all my identities feel respected, honored, and seen.
And just to share a little bit of why this program is important to me. As a non-binary and trans Latina, I find the importance of engaging in dialogue centering the diversity of our community to acknowledge and address the multidimensional struggle we endure. With ongoing anti-LGBTQ legislative action, it is crucial to spotlight and elevate voices of our BIPOC queer trans comunidad to truly understand and gain perspective to our experiences in society. With this being said, I would like to say, free people everywhere. If you identify and feel safe and comfortable doing so, please stand if you are a member of our LGBTQIA+ Two-Spirit Rainbow community. Thank you so much for being here today and for bringing light to our
And finally, we do want to take the time to honor one of our founding board members who will be celebrating her birthday this weekend. So please join us in singing happy birthday and celebrating Lisa Carreño. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lisa. Happy birthday to you.
You do that because Tony's got me doing breathing exercises, Madonna.
Happy birthday.
Thank you again for joining us today, and with that, we will welcome our co-chairs, Doris Reyes and Chase Overholt.
Hi there, my name is Chase Overholt. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm really proud to be on the board of Cien, as well as the Director of Development for Positive Images.
Hi, my name is Doris Reyes, and I'm also a board member with Cien, and I'm very glad to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming today. You know, at the beginning of the year, Cien reaffirmed its commitment to advocating for all marginalized communities with the Honest Conversation on Anti-Blackness Part 1. We as an organization have missed opportunities to acknowledge and uplift the intersecting identities of the Latina community, and we are committed to holding ourselves accountable to do better. We're excited today to take that step and bring forward a conversation near and dear to my heart as a member of the LGBTQIA+ community and uplift these voices today.
LGBTQIA plus mental health within the Latino community is a conversation about real, compounding issues that affect us all. The issue contributes to a lack of sense of belonging due to the failure of understanding the intersecting identities of the Latino community. So I will proceed by providing an example that actually happened to me. So this year for me has been like a roller coaster. Basically, I used to work at a clinic, and I used to help all the community, different members, doesn't matter the color, gender, and I just saw that there was a need for mental health providers. So I was the front desk person, and when the clients would come in, just by saying hi, they knew who I was. And they wanted to relate, they wanted someone to help, just to be listened. And under my role, I felt a little that I couldn't go beyond. So after that, I decided through taking that peer support class, I went to an actual equity training class where I'm from El Salvador. And from there, I came here when I was 10 years old. When I came in the 90s, basically they didn't have, or there wasn't a lot of Hispanic population. The closest to me was the Mexican community. So I adapted that culture and in essence forgot mine, being 10 years old. And through this equity course, basically I discovered that part of my being was close, because I had adopted another culture. And it's like I woke up from the shadows. And then I said, no, I can do better. And I started educating myself about what Salvadorian history means. Because if I understand myself better, I'm able to help more community members. And through that, I discovered that because there's a lack of therapists, I actually started doing research and signed up to go to the University of San Francisco. I really like that they're diverse and everything that they're doing. So I'm very passionate about helping people, and that's how I think I will be doing it. And I invite you all, if there's other people, to do it as well, because we can make change. Change is possible. Thank you.
I'm looking around the room today, and I'm seeing a lot of people here wanting to support and be the best ally possible to both the LGBT community as well as the Latina community. So I want to take a moment to make a direct ask that you take that step forward with us today. Move from silent to vocal, move from supporter to co-conspirator, move from friend to teammate, and become the ally you want to be today. Take what you learned today and bring it to your organization so that you can better create that sense of belonging and allow folks to really feel like they are a part of the work and center them in that work so that we can avoid mental health issues. Additionally, I'd like to let y'all know that the mental health conversation is a difficult one, and we understand that it can be difficult to sit and listen as difficult topics are discussed. Please take care of yourself. If you need to take a moment to step out of the room, we all respect that, and we hope that you really are able to enjoy the program today.
Our panelists are going to focus on, cultural norms, and going to pass through that and how we can heal together as a community.
I am so grateful to have individuals like them in our community doing this work, preserving our history. And now we're going to recenter this conversation on mental health now that we've laid the groundwork of what it means to be a queer person in Sonoma County. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Kimi Barbosa, the Executive Director of Positive Images, to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I want to give one more big thank you to Tina and Shad for that presentation and for the work that the Sonoma County Library does to preserve this history, our present, and our future. Before we bring our panelists up, I want to give us just a quick moment to move our bodies and give us a moment to switch directions. So if you don't mind, if you want to stay seated or if you want to stand, just follow me in this little activity here. All right, without further ado, I'm so excited to bring up our panelists. First, we have Anna Booker. Come on up, Anna. Anna is from West County Community Services. They are a dedicated community outreach manager who brings an unwavering passion for mental and behavioral health services and a strong commitment to advocacy and inclusivity. Our second panelist is Felix Santiago. That's right, Felix. Get up here. Of the Santa Rosa Junior College Queer Resource Center. Felix provides resources, support, programming, and connections for the LGBTQIA students to be successful in their academic and professional journeys. Our third panelist is Alexander Gonzalez of Somos Familia. Come on up, Alexander. Where are you at? There we go. Is a community educator for Somos Familia and has been organizing for more than 15 years. Let's give it a hand to our panelists. And just a reminder to the audience that on your table there is a QR code that you can scan and submit your own questions that we can ask the panelists at the end should we have some time. All right, y'all ready to go? Let's go. Come on. Our first one is Felix. I know, we're putting you in the spot. All right, Felix. What has your experience been being a queer Latinx person in Sonoma County, if you'd like to share?
Do I have to press?
No, just one click, it'll be green and you're good.
Hello? Okay. First off, I want to appreciate being invited here. I know it's an opportunity, and I know a lot of other community members would probably also want this opportunity to share their own experiences, but some of them go through like a lot of challenges and they maybe aren't out to their community. I've been out for, a really long time. I feel really old. I was born in Sonoma County. I've been here my whole life, 25 years. And there have been a lot of obstacles in my way. Oh, this mic sounds really weird for me, sorry. And my experience in Sonoma County has been kind of like, I wouldn't say 50-50. There's moments that I have good days, good experiences, like doctors will, I've been with my primary care doctor for so long, so they've known me since I was young, and they've always asked appropriate questions where I'm like, oh, thank you. And they've always used my preferred name, my pronouns. I go by they, them, ella, ax, and they haven't had an issue, which is like a privilege, an opportunity for me to feel safe and being able to talk about situations that, I go through with my own mental health. Not that long, a couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and anxiety and depression. So for those that maybe are bilingual, it's OCD es TOC, entonces es trastorno obsesión compulsiva. So I do struggle with that a lot in my daily life. And in Sonoma County, I would say that it was hard growing up because I wasn't really able to go to someone that I trusted. I went to my mom because I thought I could trust her, but going to anyone else, like an instructor, a friend, I couldn't, because I knew that they would all end up telling my parent, and I already knew what my parent was gonna say. And it wasn't until going to college is where I really met professors that were their true authentic selves, my classmates. I feel that college has been really much the dynamic shift of where I could be myself. But growing up as Latina, I couldn't embrace my LGBTQ side at all. And people have only seen me either as Latina or queer. It hasn't ever been an intersectionality that I can truly 100% embrace.
Thank you, Felix. And just the amount of work that I've seen coming out of you in the QRC at Santa Rosa Junior College, you can see that a lot of your passion is poured in that and directly from your lived experience. So thank you for helping fill that gap that really does exist. Our next question is for Alex. Why is the conversation around mental health important, especially for queer Latinx, Latine, QT BIPOC folks? How can mental health services show that they are trusted to support queer people and people of color?
Start by actually showing it up in your offices. The first thing that I do when I go into a mental health office is try to find any type of flag, anything that tells me the pronouns of the person, or just anything to help me figure out if that's a queer-friendly place. Because without any signs, without anyone mentioning to me anything, I don't know if I could actually fully trust anyone that's in that office. It just like, it's not something that is known. And especially within our Latinx communities, right? Like, for us, trust takes for someone else to show us who they are. And we can't just trust anyone, especially I was outed by my counselor to my family. And I trusted her with everything about my life. And that's the thing though, like, how can we expect to trust counselors to come looking for mental health as queer as trans folks when we know the risks that might take when it comes back to our families? I ended up in the streets after that. So what happens with other families, with other communities? So have those conversations with the people that come and look for you. If they're LGBTQ, be clear with them. What are you going to be sharing with their families? Are you queer friendly? Do you know even like to introduce yourself with the pronouns? That's very important to keep in mind.
Thank you, Alex. Anna, our next question's for you. How can we support our community members seeking mental health support? What is a recommendation or recommended first step to seeking care?
Well, that's a very powerful question. One, it addresses an important and often overlooked aspect of community well-being. And two, it highlights the need for collective action. Therefore, this is why I'm here. I was so excited when I heard that Cien was having this forum. I was really excited, and I went up to my executive director and we're like, we gotta be on this panel because this is where we can promote our peer support services. And so a way to support the community with mental health challenges is raising awareness through education, sharing resources, and doing a collaborative with agencies that support mental health services like this one. So therefore we have all of these agencies out here with resources. Please stop, take the resources with you. There's over 150 people here. The resources are for you to take with you, have them ready and available, so that when you encounter an individual that is suffering with their mental health, you're ready and able to support that individual. It's so important. There's so many people out here that are lonely, that are seeking some type of relief, and peer support at West County Community Services is free. The peer support is free, and all you need to do is be 18 years and over. And so the second question was, what is a recommended first step? And so I was having this conversation, as a matter of fact, this week with a friend of mine at Rotary, and he mentioned the 3 A's, which is awareness, acceptance, and action. And what do we mean by this? Well, awareness is you become aware of your limitations and your challenges. 2, you accept that you have those limitations and challenges and you have to live with them, so you just accept it. And 3rd is you take action. You look for resources. You find people. You find a commonality with people so that you can be supported in your mental health challenges and behavioral health challenges. It's so important to do that because there's so many people losing their lives because of mental health illness due to suicide, and we don't want that to happen to any more people. So again, the 3 A's: awareness, acceptance, and action.
Thank you, Anna. All right, awareness, acceptance, and action. Y'all make sure you hit those tables on your way out and take some resources back to your offices. Felix, next question. Why is it important to have support systems and organizations in relation to school campuses and community life? Can you speak to the importance of school and community representation? And where can students and members of the LGBTQIA community go or call for help?
The reason what, can y'all hear me? Is it more? Oh, can't hear you. It gives me a headache. Anyways, the reason why it's important to receive community support on campus is because not everyone's gonna spend their everyday life on college. Everyone's gonna pursue their own paths, their own personal journeys, and sometimes if you spend your whole life on college, you don't know really what's in your community. Or you don't have time to go out to your community, or maybe you're not feeling safe, you don't feel comfortable to reach out to an organization that you saw passing by. And so part of the Queer Resource Center, what we do is bring and invite outside organizations, we bring in groups, we do high school tours, middle school tours, so they get that sense that once they're either in college or outside of college, they finally get to know who's in their community and who they want to receive resources from, because not every org could be the perfect fit for you. And that's really, I think that's true because I've gone to certain orgs where I personally don't feel that I could connect with. Maybe there's like one point of my intersectionality that I can, and I get this a lot, but it's like, well, you're queer, and I'm like, okay, but I also I struggle with mental health. I am, my first language is Spanish, and I'm trying to relate to some of the things that are talked about and said, but I just can't. Or what if I want to connect with my family? I imagine there's a lot of students that also want to connect with whoever they're living with, whatever environment they're in, but the resources that they have or don't have, they just can't really put them together. And so what we do, we provide events, activities, all free. We provide lunch. It's just different activities, events for all kinds of levels of everyone's journey, because everyone's journeys are different. And anytime folks are looking for those resources, they can come to our office, our center in the Intercultural Center of Santa Rosa Junior College campus. We have our days and times available online. We have them on our socials. We have a newsletter. At the moment, there's only 2 of us interns, which is me and also my partner Aria, who's sitting all the way over there. And it's just that the reason why it's also important is because there's a lot of we have faculty, we have instructors, all that stuff, but there have been numerous students coming, sending us emails saying, I do not feel safe in my classroom. My instructor has been very transphobic to me. They have said these things to me. I don't know if it's slurs, don't know the context, but it's also our faculty who are also feeling very much attacked or not safe. So it's something that we're trying to, when it comes to LGBTQ mental health, we're not just thinking of students, but we're also thinking about our staff, our classified, our instructors, community members that just come on campus and it's their first time. And anytime you need support, come to us, accessible through email, in person, whatever works for you, we're flexible on that.
Thank you, Felix. I love the intersectional lens you take this work on with. Just a reminder to everyone in the audience, there is a QR code on your table. Feel free to scan it and you can submit your own questions here to the panelists as well.
I've scanned it and it doesn't allow you to do anything.
All right, we'll have someone come check on that. Looks like they're on it. Thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. All right, we have the next question for Anna. Back to you. What is a peer specialist? What is peer support? And what is needed to become a peer support specialist? What are the job opportunities out here for peer support specialists?
Well, this is why I'm here. I'm here to promote West County Community Services and their wonderful and amazing peer support services. And what is a peer specialist? A peer specialist is an individual that identifies with having mental health challenges, and they are over the age of 18, and then what they do is they take an 80-hour training course through our agency, and then they become peer support specialists.
Nice. What kind of jobs are there out there for them?
Oh, we gotta talk about what is peer support.
support. Peer support first.
Peer support is also where these peer specialists, they go in and they support other individuals with the same type of challenges, mental health challenges, behavioral health challenges. So I want to say that truly it is one of the services that I enjoy promoting for my agency. I just think that having individuals that understand what we might be going through when we're having these mental health challenges, and you have no one that you can go and talk to that's trustworthy. These centers are open Monday through Friday. You can walk in for free and receive services where we're not taking case notes, no one's tracking anything. We are simply there to support a community that is hurting, a community that needs support with their mental health. And the services are free. What do you get when you walk in through our centers? When you walk in through our centers, you get people that are there ready and able to serve. You get workshops, art, TED Talks, walk through the garden at some of our peer centers. So you receive a lot of support, individual support that is free. I just want to reiterate that it's free. And one of the reasons why I thought it was important to be here is because I need the community's help. Because one of the challenges that I'm running into is the fact that there is not a lot of help for those of us that speak Spanish. And so I am pleading, I'm asking for your help in trying to find individuals that identify with having mental health challenges so that we can send them over to West County Community Services and get them trained in our 80-hour free training course so that they can be ready and available to support the bilingual, bicultural community, because it is needed. It is really needed. I mean, I've tried to get support out there, and it's very complicated. There's many barriers out there for individuals with mental health challenges, and language shouldn't be one of them. You know, there's plenty of us here that know Spanish, that know other languages, and if we identify with having mental health challenges and are ready and able to take an 80-hour training course, please call West County Community Services and sign up for the training course. We have one coming up in November. Now, what is needed to become a peer specialist? So I touched a little bit on that. You need to be 18. You also need to take this 80 hours training course. And of course, you need to have personal qualities such as empathy, excellent listening skills, patience, to name a few. What are the job opportunities that are available? Well, at West County Community Services, we have 4 peer support centers. We have one in Petaluma, we have 2 in Santa Rosa, and 1 in Muralles. Not only do we have the peer support centers, but we also have a transitions to housing program, which was created by our peers in Santa Rosa, Petaluma, and Muralles. And what these peers do is they support those individuals that are either about to lose their housing, are homeless, or about to gain housing and suffer from mental health challenges. And so you have these individuals that support their peer for a year. It's a 1-year program. So, I mean, it's an amazing program. Imagine having someone next to you all of the time, you know, helping you through your challenges as you're navigating the housing system here in Sonoma County. It is truly a program that is supporting currently 6 individuals in the county, and they're about to graduate in December.
Thank you, Anna. Let's give it a hand for Anna. If you want more information on how to become a peer support specialist, please see their tape before you leave. Okay, next question, Alex. You ready for me? What role does the familial structure play in addressing and aiding mental health at all stages of life?
Before I answer that question real quick, I think that it's something that we really, really need to acknowledge right now, and specifically in this room, is that let's keep in mind that being LGBTQ is not what makes you have mental health needs. we can't just talk about mental health and LGBT community and not separate both things in some way, because we know what causes mental health is other things within how society treats us, how family and community and everything around that puts us in a place where we end up suffering from mental health and not being LGBTQ. And it's something that we have to repeat, especially to our Latinx families. It's really important to remind them of that every chance you get. And then to the family part, we at Somos Familia work with Latinx parents who have LGBTQ kids and adults and young adults. And the most work that we've done is first support the person that comes and asks us to speak to their parents, or the parents that come and ask to learn how to speak to their kids or understand or be able to support them. And the differences and changes that you see on them, on the parents and the young kids, it's definitely incredible to see how they grow out of certain aspects of struggling with depression, or like also thinking a lot about suicide, or like we have an incredible kid that we went through the process and we supported them and their mom, and he's an incredible artist. And all he needed was that. He just needed to hear from his mom. He just needed to know that his mom supported him and was there. But they didn't have the language. The mom did not have the language to know how to support their kid. And that's the other thing that we're still missing out there, right? The Latinx language. Like, how do we speak in Spanish about the things that we often speak right now in English? We don't have sometimes the words. So we need to find them, we need to look for them. Because unless that we teach our families and our community how to speak, they're not gonna be able to know how to support their kids. And I can tell you personally, if I had just, if my mom just came out once and used the correct name and pronoun, that would make a huge difference in my world on dealing with society and dealing with everything else that the world throw at me. Like, that simple thing gives you the strength to battle anything else that comes at you, because that's what family means to us. Our Latinx families, it's what matters the most.
Thank you, Anna.
Anna, what challenges do individuals encounter when trying to access mental health resources?
Well, according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, 1 in 5 Americans, adults, experience mental health challenges, and more than half of those adults that suffer with mental health challenges do not receive treatment. And the majority of these untreated or undertreated individuals, the barriers that they run into are financial, lack of mental health professionals, limited availability of mental health education and awareness, social stigma, and racial barriers. So again, we're here as a collective. We have resources out there. There is no reason why we should be having these barriers. And again, West County Community Services has free services, peer support services, and we are asking for your help and seeking to see if you know anyone that speaks Spanish and identifies with having mental health challenges. Please tell them about the peer support programs at West County Community Services, because not only are we're looking for individuals that can speak Spanish and help the community as well, trying to break free from one of these barriers here. So please support West County Community Services in their endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. And I'm loving all of these low barrier, high access programs that are coming out in the community, especially after COVID. I love this because as the firstborn in an immigrant family, I'm the pro at navigating systems. And even being the pro, I've had such a hard time accessing mental health resources. So I just cannot even imagine with folks with, I have my degrees, whatever, not everyone has access to that type of privilege, right? And if it's it's just hard to access. So thank you again for that beautiful answer.
It's our pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Alex, can we briefly address and I don't know how we're gonna do this briefly, can we briefly address the experience of Latina immigrants? What is the importance of community training, dialogues, legal aid and advocates, and bilingual, culturally centered services? I know, that's a challenge. A challenge to fit a whole decades and decades of LGBTQ history in 20 minutes, and a challenge to answer this question in 3, but let's give it a shot.
Oh man, where do we start? So I started the first trans Latinx support group for trans men in Spanish in the Bay Area. And the main reason why that had to be started, because there was so many things to consider for us, right? Like the biggest complaint that we get from some of the guys going to other support groups, they're mainly white community members for the trans support groups, is that the first thing that they get told is like, well, if your family doesn't support you, just stop talking to them, or just leave. Like, why are you still there? Without fully understanding everything that has to do with our culture, with our families. So all of that stuff needed to be taken into account. For us, we don't post the address of the support group. We have to have a form fill up. We have to, someone let us know who they are, and they have to go through an interview before they come to the support group. And mainly, why? Because we have to consider people's immigration. And that's not something that is considered in other groups, right? But like, we can't just trust our community's information out there. So there's so many more things to consider, but our community that is coming here now and looking for resources, a lot of them are older and do not qualify for a lot of the free services. But once they're coming over here is when they're finally having the courage to come out to their families, to their community, and it's now that they need the resources. But like, why have a cutoff age of 24 or 26 to access any resources, especially in the Bay Area? I'm having to send a trans man right now, doesn't have papers unfortunately, and does not speak English, and is struggling to leave the house all the way to LA to get the resources that they need. Because I can't find the resources that he needs here in San Francisco because there's a cutoff age. How does that make sense when y'all keep into account that most of Latinx kids, there's a certain age where like, unless that you're married, you're not leaving the house. And that's how most of us are within our families, right? So we need to be able to offer services to every age and consider our culture and how long we stay at home. There's nothing else we can do around that.
All right, question for Felix. What are the limitations you encounter in serving LGBTQIA plus individuals on your campus and in the community?
Money. I will say money first. And another thing would be folks that are actually LGBTQ and are able to serve our students and the rest of the community. Because I think it's important that we have folks that are not just like LGBTQ, but across other intersectionalities, because there's a lot of folks that come from different backgrounds kind of like you were saying, you know, that also that language piece, how to talk about, how to communicate, you know, with their family members, their friends, whoever they live with. I think that's something like really important and that's lacking at our college at the moment. I know that I'm literally the only one that's bilingual that's working in the Queer Resource Center. I've been working there for almost like 6.5 years and I have not seen any improvement. I mean, in the beginning, I was translating every single resource that I found or created. I translated it from English to Spanish in my own words, made sure that it was correct, you know, communicated with other workers there, but didn't really even know the language of like, you know, what it means to be LGBTQ, so that was kind of difficult to navigate. But I recently stopped only because it was really affecting my mental health. And because I wasn't receiving the support that I should be receiving as someone that is also bilingual, because these are resources that I also need. And when I first started working, I was looking for resources, but I ended up being the person, you know, kind of navigating and finding those resources for other students. So I just kind of ended up growing along with the center itself. And what was the other question? You had another part to it?
Yeah, it was one part question. What are the limitations you encounter serving on your campus and in the community?
And I think one final thing would be the coordinator. We are still in that process and hopefully by, I think this upcoming week we should do, we're doing another round of interviews. It's just been really difficult because we want someone that can connect with students, has either worked with students and can really bring that intersectionality piece together. And also making the pay higher because it's literally a terrible, like way to maintain a living. But just bringing more diversity and including our SRJC Roseland and SRJC Petaluma, because I feel that everyone's like, oh, they're different campuses, no, we're all the same, and we all deserve the resources there, everywhere. But yeah, if you want to donate, you can let me know, either donate to me or to the foundation. Yeah.
You're right. Check. Felix, thank you so much for bringing in that economic lens as well. I think something that we are experiencing a lot in Sonoma County is displacement due to unaffordable housing and economic insecurity. And that really impacts our QT BIPOC folks on a level that's much different than you know, the public in general. So with that, we have an audience question. Suzanne asks, how does income and economic security affect your life, ability to come out and have joy in your life? What support is needed to overcome these challenges? So how does income and economic security affect your life, ability to come out and your joy? And this is to anyone that wants to pick up that question. Go for it.
There you go.
For me, as far as the Bay Area, we know the cost of rent. I'm currently being displaced from the apartment that I am with my roommate that I take care of, who's 87 years old. She's been there for a long time. Her rent is crazy cheap, but now we're having to find something for her and for me so I can keep taking care of her. And everything out there is over $3,000 for a 2-bedroom in a place that will be comfortable enough for her that we don't have to move her so far from the neighborhood, because we know that for older folks, moving away from the neighborhood where they've been for such a long time has a huge impact on their health and their mental health. So without having the economic piece, like, we can't move anywhere in the Bay Area. We have still a lot of folks who are at home with families in situations where are not healthy, where they're not good, but they can't go anywhere because they can't afford a place to move, right? The jobs are still paying the same thing, but then the housing still keeps going up. People can barely afford food, let alone pay $3,000 for an apartment. It just makes no sense to me. And so you gotta consider all that stuff. You gotta consider being able to afford health insurance. Where are you gonna get any of that stuff without making enough money? And if you don't have able to take care of your mental health, you're not able to take care of yourself medically, you're not able to afford to go anywhere. So that just leaves you stuck in a really toxic situations, and it doesn't get better.
Thank you, Alex. Does anyone, Felix or Anna, want to add a little to that? Thank you, Felix.
I'll add just a little because I have relied on public transportation for the majority of my life. I remember growing up and my mom immediately would wake us up like 6 in the morning just to get to school like 8 in the morning. So by 7 we would be out of the house and she would be like, el vas cuesta mucho. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I mean, back then I was like in my brain, I was like, what do you mean it costs a lot? And so she would literally be, we went to Rosa Elementary and our house was on Corby Avenue. So she'd be like, vámonos, and then like we would be running and then we would make it at 7:59. It would take us an hour to get there walking. And it was just something that even today, I'm just like, I'm still being like, I still wake up like really late to catch the bus. I'll still make it to class and stuff. But like saving up money, it's kind of impossible. Kind of what you were saying, like, you know, the pay rate is still the same. Nothing is improving, but people are like, hey, get food stamps. Yeah, if you're like low income to a certain degree, you can't, if you make a little past it, they're like, no, you're too rich now. And I'm like, I wish. But there's a lot of services, but also they require you to have so many things that it just makes it impossible. And that's why I appreciate what Anna was talking about. There is like peer support that can help you navigate through all those things, because doing it by yourself is so overwhelming. You just kind of throw it and you just end up more depressed. I know I would.
And since you said peer support, I mean, yes, you can walk through our peer support centers and talk to one of the peer specialists, and if you need services, we have navigators there ready and able to provide the resources that any individual with mental health needs or requires.
Thank you, all three. Let's give a little hand for that answer. All right, our last question for the panelists, and then we'll end with a call to action for you all, the audience members. All right? Okay, one last question here. From Nick in the audience, they ask, how can we support members of the LGBTQIA+ community who may need a high level of support, but are worried about receiving a response from the police, etc.? And anyone can take this question.
I would say, first off, I don't believe there is any need to involve the police. That's just personally me. Because, I mean, if you may already know local organizations to kind of like figure out, like, you know, maybe this student or person needs some kind of support, just really getting to know the person is one. I know that's kind of like difficult to answer because I can't really imagine the situation, but like obviously if you involve police enforcement, the situation can definitely spiral into something that it wasn't maybe intended to be. I know that there are a lot of students that come to us and they're like, you know, I don't want this to be on record with the police, anything like that. You know, we respect those things and we want to keep things like confidential. But I would say that I think really engaging more in like ally trainings and kind of like going through like scenarios like that can really help situations. I mean, I kind of want to put a plug in right now. We do have from theory to practice opportunities to reflect and engage. So it's the type of like allyship work training that we are doing with Positive Images. And last week we had like our ally to co-conspirator, from ally to co-conspirator. And I think it's a really important and valuable tool to use. especially in situations like was prompted right now in the question.
I forgot what the question was.
The question is how can we support members of the LGBTQIA community who may need a high level of support but are worried about receiving a response from the police?
Well, again, I mean, it comes back to resources and trust. And so I would say directing them to organizations that they can trust and they feel comfortable in approaching, because, I mean, these are good. I can only speak about West County Community Services and the services we have at West County. And I want to say they're amazing. And when you come to West County, you're met with smiling faces. You're met with people that seriously want to help you. So I would say that, direct people to organizations that have kind, empathetic individuals supporting the community, because, I mean, that's what we need. We need empathy and compassion when we're struggling with our mental health.
Thank you, Anna. Alice, did you want to add anything? Thank you. Yeah, thank you for highlighting the need for having a deep rapport built with organizations. There is such a fear of institutionalization when law enforcement's involved, especially when it comes to something like mental health. We've seen time and time again how that can be quickly dangerous. So I agree, getting with these organizations, building rapport, asking questions. What do they do in terms of crisis response, right? Having all of these questions asked to the organization can really help build that trust to help serve your community members and your friends and loved ones. One last round of applause to these amazing panelists. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your wisdom. All right, y'all, this one's for you. Here's our call to action. We hope that when you leave here today, that you will take what you have learned and apply it in order to advocate for respectful treatment and consideration of LGBTQIA+ people within the Latinx community. Take it upon yourself to reflect on your own identity and foster a sense of belonging in your community by taking the step from silent to ally. By healing ourselves and taking care of ourselves, we are able to better understand the hurt and pain of the community. We can embrace our differences and to build a brighter, more vibrant Sonoma County. If you are interested in becoming a mental health professional or peer support specialist, make sure to visit those resource tables right over there to get involved, bring these resources back to your community, and stay in supporting of our community. Thank you.